Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. Welcome back to my channel, Science of Healing. The screen fades from black into a microscopic view of a human artery, pulsing with a rhythm that feels like a ticking clock as the narrator's voice enters with a low cinematic gravity. Imagine a silent thief living inside your body, a thief that doesn't take your money or your memories, but your independence, stealing the very fibers that allow you to stand tall and walk through the world with confidence. This thief is sarcopenia, the age-related crumbling of your muscle mass. And for most people over the age of 60, it is already well underway, causing a 10% loss of muscle every decade that goes by without a fight. But what if I told you that the secret to reclaiming that lost strength, to stopping the clock and even winding it back, isn't found in a synthetic pill or an expensive gym membership, but in the vibrant, deep green leaves of a plant we've overlooked for generations? We are entering a new era of nutritional science where we realize that spinach is not just a salad base, it is a biological powerhouse capable of rebuilding muscle 3 times faster than you ever thought possible in your golden years. To understand the sheer power of this green leaf, we have to look past the iron myths of the past and dive into the world of inorganic nitrates, the hidden molecules that act as a high-octane fuel for your circulatory system. When you consume these nitrates, your body undergoes a miraculous transformation, converting them into nitric oxide, a signaling molecule so vital to human life that its discovery earned a Nobel Prize. Nitric oxide is the ultimate vasodilator, a word that sounds clinical but feels like liberation because it means your blood vessels are relaxing and expanding, allowing a surge of oxygen-rich blood to reach muscle tissues that have been starved for years. For a senior, this isn't just about blood flow, it is about life support for your muscles, ensuring that every time you move, your muscle fibers are bathed in the nutrients they need to repair and thicken. Scientific research from institutions like the University of Exeter has proven that these nitrates don't just help you feel better, they literally reduce the oxygen cost of exercise, meaning your muscles can do more work with less effort, allowing a 70-year-old to move with the metabolic efficiency of someone decades younger. Imagine your muscle fibers as a dormant. Engine spinach is the spark that clears the rust and lets the pistons fire with a force you haven't felt in 20 years. But the miracle doesn't stop at circulation, because the scientific truth about spinach gets even more shocking when we look at its effect on force of muscle contraction. Studies published in the Journal of Physiology have shown that the nitrates in leafy greens specifically target the fast-twitch muscle fibers, the very fibers responsible for power, speed, and preventing the falls that become so dangerous as we age. When you eat spinach, you aren't just feeding a muscle. You are optimizing the electrical communication between your brain and your limbs, ensuring that when you tell your legs to move, they respond with a snap and a strength that defies the calendar. It is a biological rebellion against the idea that aging must mean weakness. We have been told for too long that the fountain of youth is a myth. But as we watch the cellular repair take place under a microscope, fueled by the phytochemicals in these greens, we see a different story, a story of resilience and reconstruction. Every bite of these leaves is a message to your DNA that the building process is not over. Yet, the tragedy is that most people over 60 are doing it all wrong, cooking these greens until they are gray and lifeless, boiling away the very nitrates that hold the key to their strength. To unlock this 3 times faster rebuilding speed, you must treat this food like the medicine it is, consuming it in its most bioavailable form, raw in a smoothie where the cellular walls are broken down by the blades, or lightly kissed by steam to keep the enzymes intact. We are talking about a total systemic overhaul, where your body stops catabolizing its own tissue and starts synthesizing new, lean mass. This is the science of survival, the realization that your diet is either a slow poison or a powerful architect of your future self. As you sit there today, your muscles are waiting for a signal. They are waiting for the building blocks that have been missing from the modern diet. If you choose to ignore this, the decline continues, the grip gets weaker, and the stairs get steeper. But if you embrace the nitrate revolution, if you flood your system with the green blood of the earth, you are choosing a path of vitality that most people your age think is impossible. You are choosing to be the exception to the rule. You are choosing to rebuild, to grow, and thrive, proving that while the years may pass, your strength does not have to fade. This is your body, this is your life, and the power to rebuild it is sitting right there on your plate, waiting for you to take the first bite of your new, stronger future. Imagine a microscopic wall standing between you and the strength you deserve, an invisible barrier that your body has spent decades reinforcing without you ever knowing it. This is the story of broccoli, but not the version you were told as a child. This is a story of a biological master key capable of unlocking a genetic cage. Deep within your muscle cells, a protein called myostatin acts as a strict governor, a chemical brake that tells your muscles exactly when to stop growing, and as we pass the age of 60, this brake often becomes jammed in the on position, leading to a rapid, devastating wasting of your physical frame. We have long believed that once the muscles begin to wither, the process is irreversible, a one-way street toward frailty. But modern epigenetics has uncovered a shocking truth hidden within the florets of this cruciferous giant. Broccoli contains a sulfur-rich compound known as sulforaphane, a molecule so potent that it has been shown in clinical settings to actually interfere with the signaling of myostatin, effectively taking the brakes off your body's ability to repair itself. When you consume this vegetable, you aren't just eating fiber, you are launching a biochemical strike against the very proteins that want to keep you weak. Research from the University of Bonn has suggested that sulforaphane can significantly reduce the expression of these growth-inhibiting genes, meaning that for the first time in years, your muscle fibers are finally free to expand. But the science goes deeper than just growth, plunging into the very architecture of your cellular health through a process called autophagy, the body's way of house cleaning, where it hunts down and recycles damaged, toxic proteins that clog up your muscle tissue like rust in a fine engine. For a senior, this is the difference between a muscle that is merely present and a muscle that is functional, resilient, and ready to fire. Every bite of broccoli is a command to your system to purge the old and make room for the new. A realization that is backed by the shocking fact that chronic inflammation is the #1 killer of muscle mass in the elderly. Sulforaphane doesn't just build, it protects, acting as one of the most powerful natural activators of the NRF2 pathway, your body's internal defense system that floods your cells with antioxidants, shielding your delicate muscle fibers from the oxidative stress that comes with simply breathing and moving in an aging body. Think of your muscles as a construction site that has been shut down by red tape for a decade. Broccoli is the agent that tears down the tape, clears the debris, and provides the blueprints for a total reconstruction. However, there is a catch that millions of people miss, a culinary mistake that renders this medicine useless. The heat of a standard oven or a long boil destroys the enzyme myrosinase, the very trigger needed to activate the sulforaphane. To rebuild muscle 3 times faster, you must respect the chemistry of the plant, opting for a light steam of no more than 4 minutes, or even consuming the raw sprouts, which contain up to 50 times the concentration of these muscle-saving compounds. We are talking about a fundamental shift in how we view the dinner plate not as a side dish, but as a sophisticated delivery system for genomic repair. As you watch your strength return, as the simple act of standing up from a chair becomes effortless again, you are witnessing the power of nutrigenomics in real time, proving that your DNA is not a fixed destiny, but a script that can be rewritten with the right fuel. The tragedy of modern aging is that we have been conditioned to expect decline, to accept the weakening of our grip and the softening of our frames as a natural tax on time. But the existence of these plant-based inhibitors proves that the body is always looking for a reason to grow. It is waiting for the signal to rebuild. By choosing to flood your system with these specific cruciferous compounds, you are providing that signal, bypassing the biological limitations that have held you back and entering a state of physical renewal that defies the expectations of the medical establishment. This is a quiet revolution happening at the cellular level, a fight for every ounce of strength, every inch of mobility, and every year of independence. You are no longer a victim of your biology. You are the architect of your own vitality, using the ancient wisdom of the earth to solve the modern crisis of the aging body. The clock is ticking, but for those who understand the secret of the myostatin blocker, the hands of that clock no longer carry the weight of inevitable decay. They carry the promise of a stronger, faster, and more powerful tomorrow. Close your eyes and listen to the rhythm of your own heart, a drum that is beaten over 2 billion times if you have crossed the threshold of 60, yet beneath that steady pulse, a silent crisis of energy is unfolding within your very cells. To rebuild muscle at a rate that defies your birth certificate, we must address the most overlooked bottleneck in senior health: the staggering decline of mitochondrial efficiency, the fading of the internal fires that power every lift, every step, and every breath of life. This is the realm of the beetroot, a crimson orb of concentrated earth energy that holds the chemical key to a physical resurrection. Not through the brute force of stimulants, but through the elegant mastery of oxygen. As we age, our muscles become expensive. To run, demanding more oxygen for less output, a biological inefficiency that makes exercise feel like a mountain even when it's just a flight of stairs. Within the deep violet pigments of the beet lies a concentration of inorganic nitrates so potent they act as a secondary respiratory system. When you drink the juice of this root, you are initiating a process called mitochondrial coupling, a scientific phenomenon where your cellular power plants become suddenly shockingly efficient, producing more energy while consuming less of the precious oxygen in your blood. This isn't just a marginal gain research published in the Journal of Applied. Physiology has demonstrated that beetroot supplementation can reduce the oxygen cost of exercise by up to 19%, essentially giving a 65-year-old the cardiovascular headroom of an athlete in their prime. Imagine the emotional liberation of moving through your day without the crushing weight of fatigue, knowing that your muscles are no longer starving for air because you have optimized the very chemistry of your endurance. But the beet's true power for the muscle seeker lies in its ability to target the hypoxic zones of the body, those areas of muscle tissue that have become stagnant and cold due to poor peripheral circulation. By flooding your system with botulanes, the unique antioxidants that give beets their defiant color, you are neutralizing the chronic oxidative stress that shreds muscle fibers before they even have a chance to repair. The science is undeniable. Better blood flow means more than just warmth. It means the delivery of growth hormones and amino acids to the front lines of your physical frame. There is a shocking health fact that the fitness industry rarely mentions. Most seniors don't fail to build muscle because they lack the will, but because their muscles lack the stamina to reach the threshold of growth, the point where the tissue is challenged enough to trigger a rebuild. Beets push that threshold further away, allowing you to stay in the zone of transformation longer, turning a 5-minute walk into a muscle-building stimulus, and a 10-pound weight into a tool of total reconstruction. You are essentially hacking the aging process, bypassing the sluggishness of a tired heart to feed the hunger of a growing bicep or a strengthening quadriceps. Yet, we must look at the dark side of modern nutrition, where the average diet has become so stripped of these earth nitrates that our blood vessels have become brittle and unresponsive, a state of endothelial dysfunction that is the primary precursor to muscle wasting, frailty. Every sip of that deep red elixir is an act of defiance against this brittleness, a way to polish the internal lining of your arteries until they are as supple and responsive as they were in your youth. This is the documentary of your life, and for too long, the middle chapters have been written with the ink of exhaustion and the theme of slowing down. But the beet provides a new narrative, one of speeding up and powering through. We see the results in the lab and we feel them in the marrow of our bones. When the oxygen cost goes down, the potential for life goes up. You are not just eating a root, you are consuming the concentrated energy of the sun and the minerals of the deep soil, translated into a form that your mitochondria recognize as a long-lost friend. To maximize this 3 times faster rebuilding speed, you must understand that the peak of this nitrate surge happens exactly 2 to 3 hours after consumption, creating a window of power where your body is primed for movement. If you miss this window, you miss the miracle. This is about more than just getting through the day. It is about reclaiming the sheer joy of physical capability, the ability to lift your grandchildren without a wince, to hike the trail you thought was closed to you forever, and to stand in front of the mirror and see a silhouette that is growing sharper, not softer. The world wants to tell you that at 60, 70, or 80, your time for performance is over, but the crimson stain of the bead on your counter is a testament to the contrary. It is a signal that your engine is being tuned, your fuel is being refined, and your story is far from over. You are entering a phase of high-performance aging, where the limits of the past are dissolved by the science of the present. Do not let your muscles wither in the shadows of oxygen debt. Bring them into the light of nitric oxide abundance. Rebuild the foundation, fortify the walls, and reignite the fire, because your body is not a monument to the past, but a living, breathing project of the future. And with every drop of this earth medicine, you are proving that the most powerful version of you is the one that is being built right now.